Video number 5. I just wanted to recap. Remember how I said within the major scale, you either have bass movement by second, which is the same as seventh, third, which is the same as sixth, and fourth, which is the same as fifth. 2 videos ago, I talked about movement by third. Last video, I did fourth and fifth. This leaves us with movement by second. This is the one where you want to be the most careful. I think this is video number 5. Okay, so here's why you want to be careful with this. Say we go from C as a 1 chord, and we go from 1 to 2. You know you're going from C, E, G to D, F, A. You will be tempted, okay? You will be tempted, and do not do this, right? Do you see how everything can step up? And that seems like very good voice leading, right? Big problem is this completely destroys independence between voices. Right here, this is parallel fifths, which you don't want to do. Look between the outer voices. C and C is an octave. D and D is an octave. Also don't want to do that. So this whole thing, every one of you is going to do this. I know you're thinking, I would never do that. I'm going to be the exception, okay? Yeah. Every one of you is going to do this. Think about it. If you can keep this from happening, awesome. All right. So, how would we do this properly? C major, 1 to 2. The problem is here, everything going in the same direction gives us parallel fifths and octaves. So the answer is to move the upper voices in contrary motion to the bass. Okay, remember this steps up. Contrary motion means the upper 3 voices are going to go down to the next chord tone. So here we've got D, F, A, G will go down to F, E will go down to D, C is going to have to leap down to A. This doesn't look like the smoothest possible voice leading because there's 2 steps and a leap. And over here, look, there were 3 steps. This leap seems problematic, okay? But this is not a possible voice leading because it violates basic concepts of harmonic grammar. This is the smoothest possible voice leading within the concept of 4-voice tonality and independence of voices. So, in a nutshell, when the bass moves by step, the upper voices go in contrary motion to the bass to the nearest chord tone. This is an ascending step. Okay, this is a progression that you wouldn't really have, but say you wanted it. We went from 5 to 4, okay? I would like you to stop the video and write 5 to 4 in 4 voices, being cognizant of this and the idea that the upper voices should move contrary motion to the bass so that you don't have this. Okay, so I'm going to write this first chord, G, B, D, G. So I have 2 roots, a third and a fifth. 5 to 4. 4 is F, A, C. This bass movement is moving by second. If I take everything and just step it down, we'll get parallel fifths and parallel octaves. The way to avoid that is to have the upper voices move contrary motion to the bass. Okay, so F, A, C, B is going to go to C, G is going to go to A, D is going to go to F. These upper voices could be in any order, but you should have a voice that goes from G to A, a voice that goes from D to F, and a voice that goes from B to C. Okay. Here's the challenge round. Let's do, again, key of B flat. I would like you to write 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. I'll help you get started on this. We get our key. All right. Here's our baseline. This is a very poor chord progression. Okay. So you're going to write this in 4 voices. Each of these is bass movement by step. So you're going to have to be careful that you don't just take every chord and walk up with them and get parallel fifths and octaves. Stop the video. I'd like you to try this in 4 voices and see what happens. Okay. So if you wrote your first chord such that, well, if you wrote your first chord and then you just took everything up by step, you fell into this trap and you have parallel fifths and octaves. Sounds terrible. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're bringing dishonor on your ancestors. Okay. Now, do you remember the way we avoid this is to have the upper voices move contrary motion to the bass. So imagine this is ascending. All of the upper voices are going to have to descend. We have to start with the tenor fairly high so that it can come down without colliding. All right? I'm just going to guess. I'm going to say I can start it on the highest possible tenor note for that first chord. B flat, F, D. I guess that should be the soprano note in B flat. Okay, so here I've got 2 roots, a third, and a fifth. Since these are moving by second, I wanted a lot of space so that when the upper voice move contrary motion to the bass, these will not collide. There'll be room for this tenor line to descend. So the 2 chord is C, E flat, G. So this is going to go to E flat, this will go to G, and this will go to C. All 3 voices contrary motion to the bass. This is going to go to D, F, and A. This is going to go E flat, G, B flat, B flat, E flat, G. When you do this, you automatically get a chord with the proper doubling. And now here, F, A, C, F. Okay? So again, this bass moved up by step. All the upper voices went contrary motion. If we did the same thing backwards, imagine this were going backwards. The bass would be descending, all of the upper voices would be ascending, moving in contrary motion. So that gives us all of the examples: root movement by second, by third, by fourth, and by fifth, which is the same as fourth, by sixth, which is the same as third, and by seventh, which is the same as second.